We are going to start a new series here for the month of November. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at idols that have the potential to replace God in our lives. So for the next 4 weeks, we're just going to be looking at different idols. Now, to start things off, we kind of have to define what an idol is in modern terms, because it's become very deceptive compared to the way it was back in ancient times, where in ancient times you had like just statues set up, or you had structures that you would actually go worship, and they were idols. In today's culture, they look much different than that in most cases, although if you go down 21st Street, some way far out there's like that Hindu temple or something that has like a massive like idol statue built out there. If you've ever seen it, it has to be like 20, 25 feet high or whatever. But in most cases, idols today look different, but they play the same role in society that they always have. So first, let me describe what an idol is. What makes something an actual idol? Here's how I would define it. It's anything you trust or believe will resolve your struggles in life and will give you fulfillment and purpose in your life that's not God. Okay? So anything you think that's going to solve all of your issues, anything you think that will give you fulfillment and purpose in your life that's not from God, that would be considered an idol, because that's what you're relying on to replace those things. So it simply fulfills or it replaces God's role and God's spot in your life. And when anything does that, that has become an idol in your life. Now, the Bible is very clear about the destruction idols cause in a person's life. So let me just read a little section of Romans chapter 1 to you. Starting in verse 21, it says this. It says, "Yes, they knew God, but they wouldn't worship him as God or even give him thanks. And they began to think up foolish ideas of what God was like." So it says the people in humanity at the time, they knew who God was, but they just chose to like kind of reject him and make up their own gods and what they thought he was like. And it says, as a result of this, their minds became dark and confused, claiming to be wise, so claiming they were smart, had everything figured out. They instead became utter fools, which you see in our society all the time now with all the idols that we do have. It says, and instead of worshiping the glorious, ever-living God, they worship idols made to look like mere people and birds and animals and reptiles. So like I said, they look different today, but they serve the same purpose, which is they're going to solve your problems, they're going to give you fulfillment, but they're apart from God, and that makes something an idol. Basically, idols will cause havoc in a person's life while convincing them that it's actually going to bring them fulfillment while it destroys you. So each week, what we're going to do is we're going to look at an idol, and then we're going to walk through these 4 things each week. The first thing we're going to walk through is what is the promise of that idol. So what's that idol promise us? Then we're going to look at the reality of what it actually does give us. Okay? Then we're going to look at what an idol, why these idols always fail, so why that specific one always will fail you. And then lastly, we'll talk about how do you avoid allowing that idol to become the idol of your life. So we're going to walk through those 4 things each week. This week, we're going to start by looking at the idol of money. All right? This is probably the most talked about one in the scriptures, but it's the idol of money. Now, money in of itself is not necessarily an idol. But as soon as you believe that money is the answer to all of your struggles in this life, or that money will bring fulfillment to your life, it now becomes an idol in your life. And you've replaced God with money. So, what is the promise that the idol of money makes us? So let me give you 4 things I think are the promises of the idol of money. The first one is this, is you can have all of your dreams. Okay? The first promise of the idol of money is you will have all of your dreams. If you just have enough money, you'll have all the stuff you want to have, so you can just go get all the stuff you can have that will make you feel good about yourself and it'll make you feel successful in life. You can get that. You can travel as much as you want and go where you want without any restrictions, and you don't have to worry about pinching every penny to go where you want. And so you can travel, and you can have people serve you. So people will serve you and you don't have to worry about it. And like people, you can go to the nicest restaurants, you can go to where you want to, and you'll be served as an individual. And so all of your dreams will come true if you just have enough money. The second promise is this: it will remove all of your stress. If you just get enough money, all of your stress will go away, and you will be stress-free, because the root of all of your stress comes from a lack of money. So just giving you enough money will fulfill that. The next one is this, is you focus on just helping people. And so the way this works, sorry, I'm going to get rid of that speaker because that's the hum you hear. I'm sorry you have to look at my butt there while I do that. All right. So with that said, the next one is you can just focus on helping people. The way people assume this is, while I'm struggling and I don't have money, I need to focus on me. But if I just had enough money, guess what I would do? I'd actually help others all the time. It'd all be about other people. And you had this fantasy in your head that if you just had enough money, it would actually make you a servant. It would actually make you serve others and help other people more, because then you would have the money to do it, and it wouldn't be something that would be a sacrifice to you because you just have an abundance and you could just help them. The last promise of the idol of money is this: it will make you content. That if you just had enough money, you would be content in life, you'd be chill, everything would be right, everything would be beautiful and sunshine and rainbows, and everything would just be good if I just had enough money and I would find contentment. What I would tell you is this: if you believe those things, then money, very real, could be an idol in your life. When you play the lottery, do not most of these things play into why you're playing it? Right? You go play the lottery because you're like, man, if I just won the lottery, all my dreams would come true. All my struggles financially would come true. I would relieve all the stress I'm feeling all the time. I would just help people with it. I wouldn't spend it on me. I'd just help everybody with it, all right? And man, I would finally be content in life because I just have an abundance of money. That's why most people go play the lottery and why most Christians go play the lottery, because they actually have those dreams and go, that's what it would achieve. And if that's why you're going to play the lottery and that's the purpose behind it, is you think it would solve all those things, it's an idol in your life. All right? So let's go to the second thing then. What is the actual reality? Those are the promises of the idol of money. What are the actual realities of money being an idol in your life? Let me give you 5 of them. Number 1 is this: you will make risky or stupid financial decisions. When money is an idol in your life, what you will do is most of the time you will make financial decisions in the now that create debt that will haunt you later on in life, because you just start acquiring debt and piling up debt. Because you want stuff in the present and you don't want to wait to earn the money to get it, so you're going to buy it ahead of time and go into debt so you can have it now. And then 5 years from now, you're paying the debt while that thing's gone. And now you can't buy new stuff because you're in debt to all these other things. Okay? So that's the first thing we see in Proverbs 22:7. It warns us of this. It says, just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is a servant to the lender. You know this: if you get into deep debt, other people control you. You literally become a slave to the system. Because you owe so much debt and no longer can you even buy the stuff you want to buy with the money you're making, because you spent all that money years ago when you didn't have it, and now you're enslaved. Okay? That's the first thing the idol of money will do, is it gets you to make stupid and risky financial decisions that will get you in debt, that will eat you alive. The second thing it actually does in our life, it will never satisfy you, no matter how much you have, because you will always want more. If money is an idol in your life, you can never get enough. You will always want more. You will never be satisfied with where you're at, and you'll always be having to get more, instead of just being able to be content at some point and going, I have enough and I'm okay with that. So it just becomes this thing. You're seeing this right now. If you followed any of this, in the NBA right now, the FBI just arrested like 5 or 6 different players or past players that were gambling on their sport. One of them is Chauncey Billups, like a hometown hero of my Detroit Pistons, who won the championship with Mr. Big Shot, we called him, because he made all the clutch shots. Guy is a multi-millionaire, and he was involved with the mob running gambling with poker and stuff like that, and like little things, taking advantage of people so he could earn a little extra money through gambling. Because you can never have enough. When money is your idol, you're always trying to get more. And even if you have multi-millions, if it's an idol, it's still not enough, and you still have to get more. One of the guys was making like $16 million a season for multiple seasons, and he's caught gambling so he can make like an extra $120,000 on a game. And you look at it and you go, you're an idiot, right? But when money is your idol, you can never have enough, and you will do stupid stuff. Ecclesiastes 5:10 says this: those who love money will what? Never have enough. It reminds me of a song. I don't know who sings it, but I always remember this line in this one song. It was Calling All Angels, and it was by Train. Is that who it was? And there's one line that always stuck with me, and it was, we only want what we want until it's ours. And it's this concept of you're always wanting more until you get it, and then it's just moving on to the next thing because you need the next thing. And no longer, once I have it, do I want it anymore. I want the next thing. And it's just this concept that you can never have enough because it's become an idol in your life. Number 3 of the reality of money being an idol. It will lead you into sinful behaviors to try to acquire it. You will start compromising your standards. You will start participating in sinful things in order to get more money because you believe the promises that it's going to give you. We read this in 1 Timothy 6:10. It says, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil." Doesn't say money is the root of all kinds of evil. The love of money, making money your idol, leads and is the root of all kinds of evil. It will get you to steal. It will get you to lie. It will get you to cheat people. It will get you to do shortcut things at work and everything so you can earn more money or gain more money. It will get you to sin because it became your idol, and you will do what you have to do to get it in your life. That leads to number 4. It will give you a false sense of security. Gaining money and acquiring money will make you feel like I'm secure. Those of you, we do this our whole lives in America. We plan for retirement. Okay? Now understand, half the world has no concept of retirement and what that would even be, or the concept that I can pile up tons and tons of money to get to retirement. But we're taught from the time we go into the workforce, what? Put money aside so you can retire someday, not work, and still be able to live a good life. Not that that's bad, but it becomes this concept of, it gives you a false sense of security rather than from God. My money is the thing that gives me security. And that is not a good thing. In Proverbs 23:5, it says this, "In the blink of an eye, wealth disappears, for it will sprout wings and fly away like an eagle." Okay, it'll just fly away. It'll go away. What the concept here in Proverbs is this, is that your money that you think makes you secure can go away so easily. And if you make it your idol and the thing that you put your life into, it can vanish so quickly. Things that could affect it. National economics. We've seen that when the economy turns at times and it plummets, you can lose your entire wealth based on that. You have health issues that can come up in your life that just wipe it out, and it's gone. And if it's your idol, that will be devastating, okay? It can be disasters, natural disasters that happen. It can be like in, Jamaica this week. Just wipes out an entire island, okay? Didn't matter how much money you had, it's all gone now. If you were on Jamaica at that point, all the things that you had built and you had acquired with your wealth, that if it was your idol, you are devastated right now because it's gone. It can be taken by thieves. Wars can break out and alter things instantly. We're just not used to that recently, but it can happen at any time. There are so many different things that can destroy your wealth and the security that you find in it in this life. And the 5th thing that happens, in reality, if you make money your idol, it destroys your ability to follow Jesus. Okay? It will spiritually destroy you. It will come between you and your relationship with God, guaranteed, if you make it your idol. Scripture is very clear on this. 1 Timothy 6:10. It says, "And some people, craving money, have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows." So it says here, some people loved money so much they made it their idol and they made it their God, who were Christians, and walked away from Christ so that money becomes their new God. Okay? We're told this by Jesus himself in Matthew 6:24. He says, "No one can serve 2 masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money." Okay? If money is your idol, you can't have a relationship with Christ. They don't mutually go together because they will compete with one another, and you will have to pick one over the other at some point. And if money is your idol, you will pick the money. And you will put God on the sidelines and call him back in when you want him. All right? So it's very clear what the reality is of money making it your idol in our lives. So that leads to the next thing. Why does it always fail? We're told all the time, money is, that's what we're preached, especially in America, our entire lives. Money is the answer to everything. Just get enough money and all of your dreams will come true. Why does it always fail on delivering its promises to solve our struggles in life and actually provide people contentment. And we see this time and time again, Hollywood people, famous people, wealthy people who are drug addicts, who are going to places for psychological issues because they're disasters. Yet they have all this money, and you go, why does it fail them? Let me tell you why. There's two big reasons. First one we see in Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. It says this, do not store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and destroy them, and where thieves break in and steal. The number one reason it can never actually fulfill its promises is so fragile, and it's so easily destroyed and taken away from you. As I just mentioned in the last part, so easy for it just to be gone like that. You know that. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of us don't, because all we've seen is stock markets go up for the last 25 years, okay? But at some point, we all know, boom, it can just be gone, and everything explodes and it's gone. That's one reason it will never, ever be able to fulfill its promises. The second part comes from Luke chapter 12. Jesus tells a story. So he's just telling people a story. They come talk to him, and it's specifically related to riches and money and making money your idol. And here's a story he gives in Luke chapter 12. He says this, a rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops, okay? So he says, this rich guy, he has great land, it grows great crops, so this guy's just blessed, okay? He's got a great situation. It says he said to himself, what should I do? I don't have room for all my crops. So he's like, man, I got so much, I can't even get it all my barns. So he said, I know, I'll tear down my barns and I'll build bigger ones. So not just build more barns, I'm going to tear down the ones I have because I have such an abundance, and just build new ones, okay? So, because I don't even like the old ones anymore, I'm just going to build new ones and bigger ones so I can store all this. He says, so I have enough room to store all my wheat and other goods. And then I will sit back and say to myself, my friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy, eat, drink, and be merry. So he sits there and he goes, I got all this stuff. I've worked these fields. I have such an abundance. I'm tearing down my other stuff. I'm building bigger ones. And then when I get it all done, I'm going to sit back and be like, now I can take it easy. Now I'm going to be fulfilled. Now I can focus on others. Now I can do all these other things that money has always promised me that it would fulfill in my life. And he says, that's what I'm going to do. And at this point in the story, you're like, that makes sense. It's like the American way, right? Like, get enough money, store enough away, then you can take it easy. And maybe it will work out, maybe, okay? But you can't put your faith in that. Because here's the last part of the story he tells, verse 20. Then God said to him, you fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get everything you worked for? So the switch at the end of the story is everyone's like, that guy's smart. He's been blessed. He built bigger barns. Good for him. And then the flip of the story at the very end is, and God says, dude, you're dying tonight. So what did all that get you? You worked all that time. You built all these barns. You collected all this extra, and you're going to die. And then the way he ends it is, who will get everything you worked for? And the answer is either his children, but he might not have had children because he's so focused on building his wealth, or just other people that will come in and take it and buy it. Okay, so other people will enjoy it because you're going to die. So the other reason money as an idol will never fulfill its promises, it doesn't allow you to cheat death. Elon Musk is still going to die. Doesn't matter how much money he has, he will die just like all the rest of us. And he could die tomorrow for all we know, just like any of us. And so it never can fulfill its promises. So that leads to the last part. How do we guard against this? How do we guard from money actually being an idol in our lives? Because as Americans, we need to be aware of this because we live in such wealth. This is a huge temptation for all of us, is to make money our idols in our life and put God as a secondary. So let me tell you how it is that you can prevent it from being an idol in your life. Number one, remember what life is about and remember this often. Take time to think about this often. What is life really about? You need to have some times, talk about this in your prayer times and stuff like that, where you just take time away from everything and some solitude and think about your life and think about really what is the purpose of life. And Luke 12 tells us this, beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own. Okay? So what we see here is this. You have to remember what life is about, and I would tell you it's only about two things. Loving God and loving people. That's it. It's pretty simple. Love God love people, serve people, help people, lead them to Christ, point them in the right directions, help them in their journey and their life to hopefully get on the path with Christ, because through that they will then find true contentment, true happiness, true purpose. So love God, love people. That is what your life is about. It's not about acquiring a bunch of stuff. It's okay to have those things, but if that's your main purpose, you're missing your purpose. All right? So that's number one. Remember what life is about. Number two, learn to be content and thankful for what you have rather than being bitter about what you don't have. Okay? Learn to be thankful for the little or the lot you have and stop whining and being bitter about the stuff you don't have right now. Hebrews 13:5, it says this, don't love money. Be what? Satisfied with what you have. And then God says this. He's telling you why you should have that. He says, for God said, I will never fail you and I will never abandon you. The money will, I won't. So whether you have a lot or a little, I will always be there for you. Okay? So that's what he's telling us to do. So you have to learn to be thankful and satisfied with what you have rather than just being bitter about what everyone else has. The last thing I would tell you to do if you want to avoid money becoming an idol in your life, beware the false promises that idols present you. You have them on your program, be aware of them. Because you know those are the promises, but none of them will ever come to fruition in your life because it will always fail you. So that is how you prevent it from being an idol in your life. So I'm going to close this morning looking at 1 Timothy chapter 6. Because in 1 Timothy chapter 6, we get an idea of what a follower of Jesus, how our mindset should be towards wealth. So in this one passage, you get a great view of what a godly mindset should be about the concept of wealth and money in your life. Here's what it reads. It says, teach those who are rich in this world, which is all of us sitting here. I don't care how much money you have. You live in America, and you're rich compared to most of the people in this world. Okay? So it says, teach those who are rich in this world, us, not to be proud and not to trust their money, which is what? So unreliable, which is what we just talked about. It says, their trust should be in God, who richly gives us all we need. And this is interesting. For what? For our enjoyment. So it's not just enough to survive. God will give you enough so you can have some enjoyment in life. That doesn't mean you have to have riches. That means you can be satisfied in what you have and still enjoy life because you're right with God. Okay? So he says, who richly gives us all we need for our enjoyment. And then he tells us this. Tell them to use their money to what? Do good. Use your money to do good. Not after you get rich. Not after you have all the extra money where it's no longer a sacrifice. While you're still struggling, use your money to do good. They should be rich in good works and generous to those in need and always be ready to share with others. It tells us how to handle our money, which is when you see needs, try to help people. Do good to people. Use it in a way that helps other people. Don't just make it all about you and meeting all of your needs. Try to help other people with the money that you have. And then in verse 19 it says this, by doing this, so if you have a biblical mindset about your money, he says, by doing this, they will be storing up treasure as a good foundation for the future so that they may experience what? True life. If you want true life, if you want to find true fulfillment and purpose in your life, handle your money in a godly way. View your money in a godly way. It's strictly there as a tool to get your family and those that to take care of them, but also to interact with the world around you and serve them with it. That's what it's there for. And if you have that mindset and you use it that way, it says you will be storing up a foundation for the future and you will experience true life. Not just forever in the kingdom of God, but also here, because when you help people, there's a sense of joy that nothing else can purchase in this world. Okay? You just get something from helping others when you're helping them through times of need and struggle that you can't get with just purchasing something for yourself. It's simply, that's where you experience true life, where you see God working through you to help others and to benefit their lives. As Jesus said in Luke chapter 12, and this is where we'll end it, verse 21, Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God. Let's pray. Heavenly Father,